Hi and welcome to Hygge and Homeschool. My name is Maya and I'm homeschooling a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old. And today I'm going to be talking about a body unit study that my 9-year-old and I are just finishing up this January. So I'm going to flip the camera around and show you some books and show you what we have done. So now the camera is here, and I just want to show you, I have these little from Kiwi Crate, I think it's called. My oldest made these some years ago, and I think they were awesome for the toddler to have some visual tactile stuff. And let me show you, I can't pick this up. So they came with these little eyes, and that was really cute. But I took them off so the toddler wouldn't pick them up and put them in her mouth or nose or whatever she would do. And they came in handy. She loved to play with them. And then I got this little guy. I haven't put it in order right now. It's been opened and closed so many times, and we've picked something out. I just wanted to get something of Amazon where my oldest could see the muscles and the bones and kind of have a visual and tactile sense of the body here. So that's what we use for Manipulatives. So I always get too many books, and I'm just gonna show you first. We made this book, and after I've shown you all the books, I'm gonna go through this book and tell you what we did. But let me start by showing you our spine book. So this is the one that we use the most. I think you can get many different human body book. We got the DK Smithsonian one, and I really like it. I felt it was perfect for our needs. We could use the drawings in here, you know, to look at different organs, body systems, organ systems, and we could draw from it. We could read the little bits and pieces, and it gave us a very, very, very good overview of the body. Then I have this one. We went in to study cells a little bit deeper. This one is way overkill. It's one that I used in college, but I was missing something. And if you guys have a recommendation for a little more kid-friendly book, where you can see, what I loved about was we could go in and see what the different types of cells look like in a microscope, and I like that, and there must be like a more kid-friendly book out there for that. Then this one, Your Fantastic Elastic Brain. I've heard people raving about it, and I must say it flopped a little bit in our household. I don't know why. None of my kids really liked it, and I wasn't that into it either. We did have about the brain as how it worked. Like we had the neurons. We had about neurons, and we had about how the senses work, but we didn't have the brain as like a specific topic in this unit. So that might also be why we didn't really use it. Then we have these two. I thought they were kind of the same because my daughter really likes the Osborne's flat books normally. This one, we didn't really use it. I feel like it's a little all over the place. There's no, like, except for the body, but there's no like theme, not even on the different pages. So I didn't use it at all for my teachings, and my daughter didn't really pick this one up. Instead, we used this one a lot. I used it as like a book to draw her in when we were starting the teachings for some of them. For instance, like when we started the bones and the muscles, this was like a good page to start. Oh, look at this, here you can see the whole skeleton, and I wonder what what does the different bones do. So it was really good for that, like a little easy, you know, starting point. So I like this one. And then this one, my 9-year-old, I think she started reading this when she was, I want to say 6, 7, and she just loves it. She just loved to sit and read in it. And how we do it is that I prepare for a lesson, and then I usually teach her, and then we draw it in our book. I'm going to show you the book when I'm showing you this book, the book that we made ourselves. And she actually taught me a lesson based on this book. So we switch. So sometimes I teach her, sometimes she teach me. So this is an all-time favorite. Then I also took this one out. I thought I could use it for the toddler. I must admit, it fell right in between my two girls. It didn't really work for my toddler. She's only 2, and she was too young for this. And my 9-year-old has, I must say, outgrown this. But I will still like to recommend it for, I'm thinking when my daughter, maybe 4, 5, 6 years, my daughter really used to love these What Is books from Osborne. And I thought sleep would go well with the body unit. And then the last book that I have picked out for this unit study was this one. And we never even opened it. I think I got it at a sale or something. And I actually think that's why I'm showing it. I think it looked really fun and really awesome, but we made our own book. We choose to do this for this unit study. So that's why this never came in as anything she did, but I'm definitely gonna save it for my younger one, and then she can do this one. Now let me show you the book that we made and tell you how we did it. So I'm gonna show you my book. My daughter, both my youngest daughter got one. I think I'm allowed to at least show you hers a little bit. So she's sitting with us for the different classes and paints and draws with us, but she doesn't really, she's only 2, so she doesn't do the copy work or anything. But that's hers. And then my 9-year-old, I haven't asked her if I could show it, so I'm just gonna show you mine. So how we do it is different from, and if there's a Waldorf teacher out there, they can correct me. So how we did it at this unit study was different from a Waldorf and then yet inspired. So how I did it, for instance, for this specific one was that I have read up on the skeleton, and I told my daughter stories while we drew it. And we had like a little bit of copy work, but it was like a lot of talking. So we don't make this as a product. This is the process for teaching, where I feel like a Waldorf main lesson book is the product in itself, where my emphasis is on the textbook. So if we wanted to know more about the skeleton, we would go into this one. We wouldn't necessarily use this one ever again. I think my daughter cherishes her book, and me too. I'm gonna save them, for for later, so we can look at them. But it's not like a main lesson book. This one, it's just like a unit study book where we put stuff in. So, for instance, this one I didn't. I told her about, oh look, this one, to get her to know the skeleton. Like, oh look, there's one bone here and there's 2 down here. They're called radius and ulna. And what do you know what a radius is? And the radius bone has this beautiful round surface that makes it rotate. And then we talked about a radius. So I didn't write all that down or necessarily expect her to remember all that, but it was like a part of the story. And then we had about the cells, and I told a story about each, the fat cell, that it doesn't, like, look, the fat fills it up, and the nucleus is completely, you know, pressed out. We talk about the epidermal cells that are like bricks, you know, for the skin, and the neuron cells that have like the fatty layer where the electricity can jump in between, and the red blood cell that has no nucleus, and it transport the oxygen around. We talk about the eye cells, that some of them see color and some of them, and then they see a little more grindy, and then some of them sees like the detail, but they don't see color, you know. So I'm not I talk too much, but like, so that was like, so all of that doesn't come in the book. It's just us sitting drawing together while we talk about it. And some of the lessons I teach, and here we talk a little bit more about the cells, the different cells lifespan, and skin cells and muscle cells and liver cells, and that the brain cells, you know, we started from, oh, these white blood cells only live one day, where the brain cells in the brain can live for your whole life. At least, I don't know if there's new research come out that says they can't. And I think also this is a very good example that it's not the product, but the process. For instance, this one, what we talked about, you can see that I've used different colors. We have used what's like the fiber stroke, and what is a tendon, what is a muscle. There's so many layers here, that the eye has, you know, the open closing muscles for the eyelids. The eye itself has muscles, and the eyeball has muscles around it to move it around and move, you know, your gaze around. So again, we're not trying to make a beautiful drawing that we can go back and look at. If we wanted to go back and look at the muscles and have their names, we would go into the textbook, where this is more the process of drawing it and trying to take it in, the knowledge. Yes, so we had the bone system, the cells, the muscle system, and then we talked about how muscles work. I think, again, this is probably not something you would do in a Waldorf main lesson book. This in third grade, you'll probably push this a little, because this isn't something a child can see, but this is how I do it. But it is, I want to say, highly inspired by the Waldorf method. So here we cut a muscle open, we looked at the muscle fibers, we look at different, that the muscle have many nucleuses, because it does, you know, work. And then we talked about the actin and the myosin, you know, coming together. And then I kind of stopped here for third grade, and then fourth grade, I spiral what she knows. So we have had some of it before. This is new to her, to like going into the muscle and talking about how it actually works. Next year, I'll add to it, you know, we'll talk about, so what makes this go into each other? We'll make a new book, and then we'll talk about like, oh, so it needs fuel, it needs sugar, it needs oxygen, and some of them can do it without oxygen. That's a totally different process, and we'll go deeper and deeper and deeper every year. So it's just to talk a little bit about my method. Here we did like some taste experiments. We talked about the tongue as a muscle, and how it moves the food, and how you can taste different things. And from that we entered into the digestive system and how that works. And here I actually, because I copied it over, I have turned it the wrong way. The liver would be over here, but and then we even talked about that, you know, why was that important. This is just my own references, what the books that we use and the experiments. I haven't finished filling them in. And here is a lesson that my daughter taught me. So where I read up on stuff and teach her, I also let her read up on stuff and teach me. And this is why she used, let me see if I can get it out, this book. And I wouldn't necessarily have chosen to teach food this way. I think I would have put it in like proteins, carbohydrates, or something else. I'm not a big fan of the food pyramid, as I don't think there's like bad foods, but there is a food pyramid in this one, and that visual really made an impact on my daughter, and she really liked it and wanted me to learn about it. And so she taught me, and we drew in, and we talked about, you know, what is healthy, what does the body need, and how do you use the different fuels. And then she made, like, for each one I make some copy work for her, that not this one, but let me see, like just a small, like something that she can copy over, and some of them, you know, we write together. And so she made this little copy work for me. And then she actually also taught me about the eye. We talked about it, we watched some documentaries, and then she drew and taught me about the eyes. And I think I did this copy work for her, but so we kind of teach and learn together. And then today, I'm filming this on the last day, we're gonna talk about the ear, and she had just explained to me the whole ear, how it comes in, I don't know what this is called in English, the drum something, I don't know, but and then the 3 bones, and then how the air is, the water, the liquid in here moves the hair, and then the sound is transported to the brain. So my daughter went through that with me, and then I went through her with how the vestibular sense, I don't know if that's vestibular, I don't know what's called in English. I only know in Danish. But like how when you spin and spin, that the liquid keeps spinning. So we did that experiment. And talked about how the inner ear helps you to know where you're positioned, your body is. And then we're going to finish that up today. And then we won't talk about the body again until next time we have a unit study about the body. Or probably, we'll talk about it regardless. We're having like an Egypt study coming up. We'll talk about it maybe in the sense of mummies and how they dressed and what they ate. But we will spiral back to it and go deeper and deeper and deeper into knowledge of different aspects. And I also want to say this book is like the least expensive I could get, I think, from Amazon, or maybe it was some other place where I buy my school resources. And if we were doing like an art unit study, or the book, the product was more important, I would get, a more high quality one, maybe with, some pages in between, and if we were painting, so it didn't drip over. But this was just, the lowest the lowest price, and it worked wonders for what we did here. So let me just share and talk about a few of the experiments that we did. So when we start our unit lessons, I always try to lead with like an experiment, or I could pull this guy out and we'll try to find something on him, or talk about something to kind of get my daughter from her morning play and into the study. So for the muscles, we did this one to kind of show how then we had about the bones and the tendons and the muscles, and we could see like when the muscle contract, what happens. For the digestive system, that spanned it over several days. One of the things we did was I had little cotton balls with different scents on it. So we had vanilla, we had lemon, we had different, and we tried to see what happened when we smelled them while we ate an apple, and what did it do. And then my daughter came up with that we should close our nose and see what it did to our tasting, the sense of taste, which was also really fun. I'm trying to think what else we did. We did then for the ear today, we had this one with little, hi Madison. So my 2-year-old just woke up from her nap. But yes, I would use this as like an audio thing for my daughter to think about how sound waves move. And we'll do other things, to get you guys from playing and into the lesson. And I think I've really enjoyed to see videos of other homeschoolers and how they teach and what the emphasis is on and how they do it. And I hope you could use my video. I hope you really enjoyed watching it, and maybe you're like, oh, I would never do it like she does it. Or maybe you're like, oh, some of that I could actually use in my own education and home education. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. And now I'm gonna go and feed my little toddler here behind me.